Stephen Colbert, left-wing Slate show, became therapy session for liberal study, okay, shows. Let's go to the study here. Page 16. Okay, don't show the numbers, Rob. I just want the audience to see this here, to see what the reaction is going to be, okay? So here's what's weird. A study by media watchdog Newsbusters found that since 2022, embattled funny man Stephen Colbert, I don't find him funny, but apparently he's a funny man.
No.
The Late Show hosted 176 left-leaning guests and had only one Republican during that time. Do you know who the one Republican was? Liz Cheney.
No, you're joking.
Did you know this or no?
That is hilarious.
The one Republican is Liz Cheney. I'm not kidding with you.
That is hilarious.
This is the charts. Look at this. Seth Meyers, 0 conservatives. Noah, 0. Corden, 0. Colbert, out of 176 liberals, only 1 conservative. Jimmy Kimmel, 58-2. And I think one of the guys was a pillow guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Daily Show, 157-9. 95% of the guests are liberals. Fallon, 41-2. All in all, 511 liberal guests to 14 conservative. 97% of the time, they were on the other side. They're wondering why the show didn't do well, okay? They're wondering. But is anybody surprised? What do you think about, Tommy, when you see a number like this of 176 left versus 1 to the right?
Same thing on The View. No conservatives. They have the one semi-conservative that they beat up on a daily basis, but of course she also hates Trump, so that's the qualifier there. So it's no surprise to me that people are not watching. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from South Dakota. People that watch these late night shows or watch these comedy shows, they're not really people who live in New York City or people who live in LA or even Chicago in big hubs, because those people at night, they're going out, they're socializing. The people that are watching these shows, and the same thing with like the award shows, used to be people kind of in the Midwest that they sit around with their family and they watch TV at night, and it was kind of their entertainment for places that didn't have a hustling, bustling scene. But those people also happen to be more conservative, and they happen to probably have voted for President Trump. So why would they want to watch this at night? They don't. They want to turn off the TV. So they think this is some big conspiracy as Donald Trump is making these shows fail and flop. No, it's that you're no longer representing not only both views, but you're representing one view, and the other half of the country and the majority of the country has a different view, and they're not going to watch you because you're also not funny when you do it. So this isn't some big mystery here. It's pretty obvious. These people do not know who their audience used to be, and they'll probably never get them back.
That's interesting, because while you're saying what you're saying, your assistant just told Chad, one of our team members here, that Kamala Harris will be on Stephen Colbert tonight.
You're joking.
It just broke. Rob, can you check this, Rob? This was just announced literally right now.
Oh, wow.
Of course.
So that's now 177-1. Unless if she's going to announce tonight that she's going to become a Republican and flip parties. Kamala Harris set for first post-election appearance on what show? The Stephen Colbert Show.
Wow. That is so funny.
Is anybody surprised? Anybody surprised with numbers like this? Adam, what are your thoughts on this?
So there used to be an old saying in media, win the central time zone. So we live in these, silos of the California liberals and the New York liberals and everything that's going on the East Coast bias and our ivory towers. But the true Americans live in the breadbasket. They live in South Dakota. They live in Nebraska. They live in Iowa. They live in the Midwest. And that phrase has been lost by the big media legacy companies that would just double down on what I would call these late night confirmation bias, echo chambers, groupthink, tribalism mentalities, siloed. And here's a living example of Stephen Colbert, who just been canned. Not one conservative has appeared on their show. And the one that did was Liz Cheney, who was spearheading the January 6th involvement with Trump. So it just... The number one thing to me is the Democratic Party is the party of DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. The whole concept of diversity is they want everyone to be diverse, except for how you think. You have to think
look
a certain,
diverse.
Exactly.
Look diverse, not think diverse.
Correct. And that's the biggest problem, is that the number one type of diversity that you should be striving for is opinions, not how you look. And that's the biggest problem. What do you
So
think?
to
Tony?
that point, I want to say The Daily Show actually had 9, and that's better than most. I was on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. I believe to this day it might be one of the most streamed episodes of The Daily Show online. And he wanted me on because guess what? It was good for ratings, right? And he wanted to chop it up with me. And it made for good TV. And people enjoyed it and people watched it. And people hated me for it and hated him secretly because they had me on and, oh, how dare you platform this person, whatever. But it was highly viewed. And Trevor Noah at that time, he understood, okay, Trump just won an election. This was back in the first Trump 1.0. Let's have somebody on that was a voice of kind of mega. And thought that was going to be good TV. And it was. But the reason that the Colberts and them and The View and whatever, and I was also on The View, that they don't want to have the conservatives on now, it's not because they won't get ratings and people won't watch. It's because they don't want to humanize or normalize conservatives. Because if you sit down and you're a liberal and you sit down and watch a conservative on one of these shows and you realize that they're actually funny or charismatic or they got some good ideas and they're not this boogeyman, then oh no, you might change the way you vote. And they are not going to take that risk. They won't have them on, not because people won't watch, because people will watch, and they might change the way they vote and think. And that's dangerous.
And you know the most watered down word, I'm sure you've heard it before, is racist. Yeah. If you were called racist 5, 10, 20 years ago, your career was done. Being called racist now is just like, all right, cool. It's meaningless at this point. It's lost its tooth.
Well, ad sales for American Eagle are racist now.
Yeah. Oh.
Sydney Sweeney.
Oh,
Of course.
horrible and good.
She
And I'm
likes
happy
jeans.
that because
Go
of
ahead,
that and all that
Vinny, be
hate,
racist for a
she's
second. Go
almost
ahead.
$300 million just for American Eagle. Did you guys see what Jay Leno said about the whole Colbert situation?
What do you say?
Oh, Rob, why don't you play the clip? He says a little something about making fun of both sides. Check this out.
There you go.
I like to think that people come to a comedy show to kind of get away from the things, you know, the pressures of life, wherever it might be. And I love political humor, don't get me wrong, but it's just what happens was people wind up cozying too much to one side or the other. Why shoot for just half an audience all the time? You know, why not try to get the whole? I mean, I like to bring people into the big picture. I don't understand why you would alienate one particular group. I like to think that people.
Yeah, it's very, very true. Well, and it's like, guys, it didn't work. And I'm so freaking happy that people, I mean, it took a while. We got Adam on our side. It takes a while. Everybody, it's like enough is enough. And like that, bro.
It's just, it's not even enough is enough. I think the main thing, Vinny, is it's a bad business model.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's a bad business model. Guy says the other day, he sends a tweet. This is why, PBD Podcast won't have Thomas Massey on. He won't have, Whitney Webb back on. He won't have, he said these 5, 6, 9. I'm like, okay, we've invited Whitney Webb multiple times.
She's been on twice.
And she's been on 2 times.
She doesn't live in the country.
We invited Thomas Massey on 20 times.
No.
Doesn't come. We've invited so many people on. We've invited Van Jones on. We exchanged messages. He's trying to find a time for his calendar to come on. We invited Don Lemon on. We've invited so many different people on. I will do a one-on-one or a, what do you call it? Home team like this. Preferably a one-on-one. The first time I sit down, I want to talk. We invited, who was the guy that on the Zoom, he did what he did? What was his name?
Jeffrey Toobin.
We had Toobin on. We had Cuomo started coming back on. We had so many enemies.
We miss you, Chris
We
Cuomo.
like having the Cuomo and I talked the other day. We're trying to get a date on the calendar to come back on. We don't mind the conversations. We like the conversations. We like the banter. We like the discourse. It's just a bad business model for late night. By the way, you could do that as a podcast because podcast is talk to whoever you want to talk to. Actually, don't judge it if you've done on a podcast. I want to talk to people I want to talk to. Late night, the purpose of late night is to talk to who? The late night people that are sitting on the couch or the bed with their husband and wife and just want to sit there and laugh at everybody. And you go one-sided, terrible business model that they have. You were asking about the latest polo shirts that are coming up. It took us a few months to get them. They're finally in. I wore one of these. Everybody was asking, where did you get these Valuetainment polo shirts? They're right there. We got them in brown, black, white, gray, and another white. There's a bunch of them on here for those because it's hot. Yesterday, we flew in from Orlando. We're on a flight, flying back on this private jet, and we're asking the pilot, hey, can you turn on the AC? I can't turn on the AC. Mario makes the mistake of asking the guy, he says, I heard this is a this is a Mach. What did he ask him? He says,
Mach, does it go Mach? And the guy was like, yeah, it goes Mach 1.5.
He says, it
I'm
goes
like, here
actually
we go.
Mach 1.1. And then next thing you know, we get on the jet, and this guy goes, ew, he starts doing all this stuff, showing off. I'm like, what is this guy doing? On the way back, we're flying low. He says, I can't turn on the AC. I get off the plane.
Do you
remember what I look like?
Honestly, look like somebody
Honestly, what do I
poured
look
water
like?
all over you.
I get off the plane. My entire shirt is flipping, drenched. And this is why Tommy just announced she's moving to Florida because she loves the humidity here. But for some of you guys that are in the heat, you want to wear a polo shirt and have the Valuetainment gear on, go place your order at vtmerch.com. We did not order too many of these, but if you want to get them, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, sport them. We were at Orlando at the Gaylord event. Cannot wait to see all of you guys at the Vault Conference. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.